Yeah, so being a young kid, even back in public school, I always liked drawing houses. I was always one of those Lego kids. I always liked building things. So when the time came for me to pick a career, architectural technology kind of stood out to me. So I was in my final year, but first semester when I competed in the provincial competition. It just helped me realize that this is what I want to do. And it also proves that this is something I can do and excel at. So Fanshawe College never competed in architectural technology till 2011. Well, one of my professors at the time asked me if I'd be interested in essentially being the guinea pig to go and see what Skills was all about. So of course, being an eager student, I agreed. And from there, kind of history wrote itself. Ended up going to a provincial competition, leaving that competition thinking that I absolutely bombed it because I didn't finish the project, but I didn't understand at that time the project was designed not to finish. So I actually went home that evening. My parents convinced me to go back the next day to the awards ceremony just because who knows when you're ever going to get to do something like that again. So I sat at the very back of the arena at that time and they're going through and I see that one college got bronze, one college got silver, and I thought to myself, okay, you know, I'm probably dead last. And then all of a sudden up on the big screen is, you know, Joel Foster, gold medalist. And obviously at that time, the emotions just come flooding through. So there was this odd pause while they waited for me to kind of make my way up through the crowd. And then nationally, straight from provincials, you go into a meeting. At that time, the director of Skills was just like, hey everybody, we're going to Quebec City. And I'm still thinking, I have no idea what the heck's going on because I'm supposed to be the guinea pig. 2 weeks later, flew to Quebec City with the rest of Skills Ontario and competed there in a 2-day national competition where I won silver. Definitely the biggest highlight for me would be winning and actually proving not only to myself, not only to Fanshawe College, not only to the province of Ontario, but to all of Canada that yes, I can actually compete at a national level. The minute that I finished with Skills, I got back on the plane, flew back to Ontario, kind of all that adrenaline wore off. I instantly thought to myself, I need to give back to whoever just gave me this opportunity. So from that day forward, I joined the provincial committee, worked my way through a couple years with that, and eventually became the chair of that competition, and then eventually became the chair of the national competition. Skills Ontario definitely set the bar for one, not only the college, but for me as a person. Going into interviews, I had that confidence, you know. Being a graduate, yes, you have that piece of paper that says you do have the skills to do that certain trade, but having that next caveat of having those gold and silver medals hanging around my neck just gave me that confidence and gave me that, you know, push through that door to say, yes, I can do what I can do here. Yeah, so after Skills, I joined with an architectural firm here in London, Ontario. I worked there for a couple of years and got a job with a custom timber frame home building company because I told myself that if I'm supposed to be drawing these drawings and on the job site telling people what to do, I should be able to do it myself. So after a year or two in the actual construction industry, I was hired on with a firm in Waterloo, Ontario. That's where I kind of became an intermediate technologist, worked my way up to be a senior technologist, and in my last final years, I actually got headhunted by another firm within Waterloo. Went over to them and became a project manager. Worked with them for 3 years. It was fantastic. I did mostly high-rise construction. So not only did I manage a team in the office that was actually preparing the working drawings, but I was on the job site coordinating things that were needing to happen there. The same professor that asked me to do Skills Ontario almost 10 years ago called me up and said, hey, we're looking for someone to part-time teach at Fanshawe College. And me being the brown noses that I am, I said, sure, let's take that on. I started part-timing. I part-timed here for about a year and a half, and then a position came for full-time, and here I am standing today. Most rewarding part of my job right now as a professor is giving back to the students. You know, seeing in their eyes that same kind of eagerness and that same opportunity that I had. There's always something that I could teach somebody else, and when you see a student actually grasp it and understanding, there's nothing more rewarding than that. So to become an architectural technologist, most of the time it's a 2 or 3 year college certificate or diploma program. Here at Fanshawe College, we're an advanced diploma, so we're about a 3.5 year program with co-ops. So the way Skills kind of set me up for success, again, just being back to that opportunity, but Skills Ontario also does a great job at putting the trades out in kind of the public eye. Once you actually get involved with the trades, you realize that the men and women in these trades are absolute geniuses in what they do. So having Skills kind of plowing the way makes it a lot easier for my industry to be out there in the public eye. So when you graduate as an architectural technologist from any of the colleges in Ontario, you're not really pigeonholed into being a draftsperson or, one sort of trade. I had no idea what Skills Ontario even was until one of my professors asked me to try it. So if I would have been that shy student and said, I don't really like stepping out of my comfort zone, I never would be where I am today. I can almost guarantee that Skills Ontario had a role in where I am today.